Hey guys, wanted to take a moment here and actually, since some of you asked how Comic Con went and you guys were interested in seeing some pictures and some kind of highlights of Comic Con, I want to take a second to kind of run you guys through a video slash picture tour of kind of some of the lesser sought avenues of New York Comic Con this year. For those that are following a lot of the stuff you've probably seen on Twitter. For a lot of those that don't follow what's happening at Comic Con, there was some actually really cool stuff. Aside from all the panels, like the Stranger Things panels was there, the Walking Dead panel that was on Saturday. There was a lot of long lines for that stuff, but there was a lot to be found in the lesser alleys between the major booths. So anyway, since some of you guys asked, I thought I'd give you guys a tour of some of the video and picture highlights that I captured. This is actually the elevator in Javits Center going up to the showroom. Note the big red floor. There was red carpeting all over this place. So this is kind of the top level, above all the queue lines and the exhibitions and artist alley and stuff like that. This was kind of the top level exhibition showroom. Pretty big, pretty cool. There's some cool Walking Dead figurines, high quality Walking Dead figurines that we came across. This dude, Michael Myers, was hanging out. He was hanging out by the Dead Before Daylight booth. Friend and I got to talk to those guys for a while. Pretty cool bunch. They're getting some success on Steam right now. The game's only like $20, but they're working through a couple major bugs, but they're definitely a fan favorite right now. But Michael Myers is actually hanging out because he's actually going to be one of the killers in the game soon. I'm actually trying to get my friends to play it. It just seems like a kind of cool 1 versus 4 arena style play. Anyway, I got a nice little picture with this guy. So Barb was all over the place. For those that are familiar with Stranger Things, these posters kept popping up and appearing all weekend. It was pretty cool. It was actually really cool. And if you can't read the writing, the small writing there, it says, I can't be the only one who cares. It was funny. This was kind of a pleasant surprise. I had no idea he was going to be here. But Bob Camp, I actually got to talk to Bob Camp for a little bit, co-creator of the Ren and Stimpy show. This is me with some of my John Gang artwork, one of his original pieces, but I'll show you more of those later. This was Storyboard Alley. It was pretty cool. This was on the way to Artist Alley, and it had kind of some storyboards for some older movies, and kind of production pictures and whatnot. But the one that was actually particularly interesting was they had the Alien and Aliens. They had some production pictures of Alien and some storyboards, some production pictures, and some original storyboards from the Alien production. Very cool. Very cool. And some other Alien artwork that was pretty cool to look at. Here's another John Gang rendition. This one of Kylo Ren that I actually picked up. The detail on this stuff is it's really cool. Superman #2, and I think this was on sale for $100K. Not even joking. I don't even know if that's actually the comic book in there. This guy, Ruthless FX, I actually tweeted about him a couple times. This guy kind of creates ridiculous props and weapons and helmets and stuff like that. And here's a close-up of one of my favorite helmets. This guy had just kind of ridiculous work. Very cool stuff. And I believe the process he used was he kind of 3D printed, high-quality 3D printed stuff, and then from there, that's the mold. And then from there, he kind of created metal casts of the helmets and whatnot. So this place, The Lair, and I think they were just associated with The Lair, but these two paintings are awesome. This one, obviously, the Hulk is beating the shit out of some Nazi hardware, and then here, good old AT-AT in the background. Very cool. And these are big too. These are like big suckers. Here's me chilling with Tony. Okay, so these were actually some extremely high quality Batman universe models. Very creepy. Actually, Actually didn't even get a chance to look at what series they belonged to, but you can see they had like interchangeable heads here. It was just very, very, very cool, high quality stuff. The first Batman model actually made me think of I think the original Arkham Asylum game where the Scarecrow was dropping his poison at Batman, and Batman was flipping out and having hallucinations. That kind of reminds me of the visuals that were in that game. Here's a little dance-off session that we were enjoying. A lot of these just happen to pop up throughout the day. This was by far the coolest Hulk costume that made it to Comic-Con. This guy, it was kind of... The picture actually doesn't do it that much justice. This costume was huge, and it was like hard plastic. It looked soft, but it was actually like hard, so you couldn't even like squeeze his arm or anything. It was kind of a tight costume, and it was funny because he was just stuck in that position the whole time. Very cool. Everyone had these, by the way. Everyone had these massive bags. It was kind of a thing. Been to PAX East before, but this is my first Comic-Con, so I hadn't seen these bags previously. But it was funny to see them everywhere. Scott Hanna, original prints, really cool stuff. I picked up some of these for my friend. It was really cool because he was offering some black and white and color prints, but for some reason the whole Batman theme, this particular sketch kind of looked much better in black and white to me. So it was some really cool stuff there by Scott Hanna. This is the family fist bump I tweeted at one point. Pretty cool costumes. A lot of good Kylo Ren costumes there. I think I have another picture of another one. This was me sitting down for the Amazon Prime Man in the High Castle vibe demo. I gotta be honest, it was pretty underwhelming. I actually enjoy the show. I do watch the show, but the presentation kind of reminded me of Myst, like these just very static backgrounds. I don't think it did a good job in showing off what the Vive can do. This was the front hall to Javits Center. This is one of the main transportation lanes, so it was consistently packed. This was actually a really cool Wonder Woman exhibit. So I had various kind of the helmets and different props that Wonder Woman has used through the years, like from the shields and the bows. A lot of good artwork. It was kind of fun walking through there. A lot of people didn't know about it because it had like these 3 random entrances, and it was kind of like a maze with white walls on the outside. So I don't think a lot of people knew what was inside there. Got to meet King Kai. It was pretty cool. Dude is big. And then this other guy, when I was waiting, this other guy just strolls up and he's like equally as jacked. And I actually have no idea who this guy was. I forgot to look him up. He's a big dude. These are big guys. I tweeted this too. Get out his way. Get the hell out of his way. Some good Wonder Woman costumes, as I mentioned. Some really cool Wonder Woman costumes. This poor guy, he was trying to pose for a picture, and his lightsaber ran out of batteries. So he had this epic costume, and he was posing perfectly, but his damn lightsaber wouldn't turn on. This guy, this is one of the coolest costumes, and that girl's actually pretty tall. He was probably like 10, 11 feet tall. He was kind of ridiculous. This is kind of the side game we were checking out, and it was like this VR game, Mo Cooney. And I really couldn't tell the premise of it. Never heard of it before, but I couldn't tell the premise of it, other than you're literally picking up this cat and shaking it and throwing this cat around. It was funny. Probably more to it, but it was funny visuals. So I tweeted this picture actually too. This was some awesome sketches, Will Conrad sketches that he did. Here's an actual just to give you guys a visualization of Artist Alley. Like there was Comic-Con and the Q floors and all the top level, medium, bottom level stuff, and then off to the side there was this whole other section, and this is that section of Artist Alley, just jam packed. You can see how deep it goes, and there was just hundreds of artists there. It was so fun. Artists doing what they do, sketching and selling their original work. Glenn Rain, I actually got a cool autograph picture from Glenn Rain in The Lich King, one of his original works from way back in the day. He's for those that don't know, he's been at Blizzard for like 10, 11 years. He's like one of the lead designers, lead artists, I should say. I was talking with him for a while. He's at one point I asked him, I was like literally I was looking through his kind of portfolio, and it looked like he did every single original Hearthstone card. He did a lot of them. A lot of the ones that you guys have stuck in your head. This guy drew. Cool dude. Valve store had some pretty cool stuff. There was some cool stuff at the Valve store. We had a hell of a time, and I didn't actually know this. This little character here with the mohawk. None of the story associates knew what this character came from, and finally we got some fan to kind of tell us. And I actually forgot his name now. It's like Hedge something. Anyway, it was a user created downloadable from the Steam store, so it took a while to identify that one. For those WWE, WWF fans, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, was there. Funny guy. Also, Jimmy Hart. This was a bomb-sniffing dog that was taking a break. Incidentally, I actually saw him a day later, and I was too scared to take his picture again. But he was working his butt off the very next day. This was on the back of one of the girls' locker room stalls. My wife took a picture of this, and it took a while to figure out what the hell this was, but it's an upcoming Hulu show, I believe, a Hulu exclusive show, and I forgot what it meant. Something. I gotta look it up again. I actually forgot what this meant. Here's the man, John Gang. His artwork. Like, look at the detail. Look at the detail on like the Harley Quinn and the Joker, or even like the Spawn. So much detail in his work. It was a very, very popular spot in Artist Alley. I ended up picking up the Kylo Ren print and the two original character prints. He's actually planning on, and those two characters were actually from the same universe that he created, so he's actually planning on pitching that series, comic series, to Image Comics, I think. No, I forgot who, but you should be seeing that soon. I can't imagine it wouldn't get picked up. So that was kind of some of the pictures and videos that I took at Comic-Con this year. A lot of cool stuff. If you guys have an opportunity ever, it's really one of those things it's just really fun to hit up. The costumes are great. If you go in with the expectation that you're gonna see everything, it's not gonna happen. It's absolutely not gonna happen. So if you go in there, just expect to do your own thing. If you want to see the big panels, expect to wait a long time because the lines are miles long. But if you just want to go in and kind of see cool stuff, and that's kind of the approach that I took with it, and you'll get to see a lot of stuff. And a lot of the stuff is from people in the movies and the games and the comics that entertain you. A lot of the stuff is from kind of the lesser known people that are responsible, not the public faces usually. So hey, it's good to support those guys too, right? Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this look at the 2.5 days I spent at Comic-Con. Actually, I also picked up, I actually don't have any pictures of it, but I talked to Cliff Rathburn for probably a good half hour. He's, for those that don't know, he's one of the main illustrators for the Walking Dead series. And he's just sitting there. He didn't have like this is kind of the mentality that I gravitate toward. Like, he didn't have any kind of backdrop. He was an Artist Alley. He didn't have any kind of backdrop. He was just chilling by himself, in between people that happen to recognize him or happen to be seeking him out, because he didn't have anything specifically calling out of his work. And he had all his original content on top, and he had some like Walking Dead prints underneath. Tell you, man, nicest guy in the world. I was just we were having a conversation, and there was a lot of personal talk, just interesting stories of Kirkman, and it was just, anyway, it's those kind of experiences that you just, if you don't get tied up in kind of the big picture items at Comic-Con, you can kind of get into. Anyway, I picked up a couple signed copies of some original work by Cliff, and some of his Walking Dead prints too. A couple signed items. Cool dude, very cool dude. All right, guys, rambling on. Again, if you guys made it there, let me know what your favorite part of Comic-Con was. And also in closing, I gotta say, the new RFID chip system, I thought it was pretty seamless. The wait times were negligible. All right, guys, peace out.